Welcome back, everyone. I'm the Mouse of Ink, and we are about to jump into another coloring book session. If you like videos like these, please like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. So my first piece of advice, get you a piece of wax paper, sketch paper, and you're going to want to put it behind the piece in the coloring book that you're coloring so that it is not going to stick to it. I'm using watercolor, acrylic, and illustration markers, and this is Voodoo and Oh Shit from Black Ink Crew. If you have not discovered my coloring book yet, and it's your first time viewing it, I really implore that you go and you check out my other videos so you can see how the coloring book was made, where it was shipped from, how I made all the designs, how I put everything together. It's over 118 pages. It's over 120 page paper count. That's the reason it can take this watercolor, acrylic, and mixed mediums. And it's a hardback book. So when I made it, I didn't want anything flimsy. I didn't want anything that was going to feel, I don't know. I don't want to say the word cheap, but cheap. So basically when I made these, I made a batch of them and I sold all but two. So I only have these two copies left and they're both my prototypes. I am going to definitely be going over the blueprint because the books can be printed and I can get them and you can get them from me at pretty much any time. Like, for example, during the holiday, I am going to be ordering another batch because I just did not expect the first batch to sell. And I'm very appreciative to everyone that picked it up. And I hope that they're enjoying their coloring book the way that I'm enjoying mine. So let's get into it. I put a flesh tone of the watercolor down because I feel like it's the perfect see-through medium. And then I like to go and I like to put acrylics as well because I feel like acrylics are a heavier base medium and it just adds to the volume of the watercolor. And sometimes I do this before it dries and sometimes I do this during the drying process, which is actually the reason that it takes a little longer than expected. But it does dry extremely fast and I'm always impressed. It's also very forgiving. That's another thing I love about the watercolor and the acrylic on this. Acrylic not so much as forgiving, but the watercolor, let's say, for example, the lips, I changed them. I decided I wanted them softer and I wanted to do them with the illustration markers and not with the paint. But I had already put the watercolor and acrylic down. I simply smeared my hand across it before it dried and it took it right off without taking the flesh tone. Now, I also want to say you don't have to paint anything the way that I'm painting it. Everyone's coloring book should be specific to them. Never worry about, well, it doesn't look like hers or it doesn't look like that person's. It's about how you want it to look. In fact, I have zero visualization for half the pages that I'm painting and coloring and revisualizing and changing up. They start one way and they end completely different. In fact, I'm so impressed by the pages. It's the reason I'm choosing to go ahead and share it. Like I said, there was that situation about 2 weeks ago and I thought about it and I'm like, no, this is hot. This is nice. And I know how nice this is. And the only way I can prove it is to put it out there and to promote it myself and not embrace the thoughts of others. That's like one of my big pet peeves is not letting people interject their feelings onto me. And just because they're in that environment and they're not able to come up with this kind of stuff does not mean I should let them belittle me or make me feel like what I've done is too much. There's never fucking too much. Not for what I do, not for artwork. My artwork is priceless to me, okay? And it's hard for me to put a price on it, but I get extremely disappointed in other people when they want to put a price on it and when they want to brand it the way they want to brand it when I've given them a chance. You know, I gave everyone a chance when they were on TV to show their best stuff. I wasn't on display like they were. You know, on season 4, I wasn't on display. I had 2 airings between that and Chicago where you'll see me as a kid, barely any tattoos, short ass dreads, red cup in my hand, like what is going on, you know, watching what's going on, like, and then remembering back to those moments because like this is like 10 years ago for me that I had my apprenticeship, which is why I implore you to go and watch my other videos to understand the context of this and where it all comes from and how I could perform and make this for something, you know, is it's really difficult to say how passionate I am about my own work. And I've also hidden a lot of my own personal designs in the coloring book. That was another big thing. Even the back of it, my children helped me draw it when they were little. And that was around the time they were 3 and 4 years old. And I produced the book, established it, distributed it around the time they were 7 years old. So it was plotted and planned for a while, even before its release. Like I thought about it and I was like, do I really want to, like, because you know, in their mind, it's going to be like I'm giving them all the credit and I'm worshiping them. And that's really not it. I'm actually bringing out what I see in them. And to me, it appeared a bit orange here. And this is how big the coloring book is. I had to go through it and I lost the page because it's like, fuck, which page was it again? Because it had dried and I just closed it because I was like, I'm going to close it and save my energy for coloring it another time, because it really is that much of a coloring book. Like, it's pages and pages of work for you to really get into. And if you like the crew, like if you fuck with Black Ink Crew, I can promise you that this is not going to disappoint. This is like a holiday gift type nice. And again, I haven't been in detail on every page. I haven't even talked to everybody about every page. I'm just literally in my zone enjoying it right now. And that's why I'm not going to let anyone burst my bubble or make me feel some type of way. Even if they are working for that brand actively, I'm not going to let you make me feel that type of way. And the crazy part is I'm not talking about anyone that you see me painting. Nobody that's important. I'm talking about lackeys right now. Like, lackeys seem to think like I would care. I don't care. I didn't make this for you. I'm not putting all this detail into it for you. I'm doing this for me. This actually will help you with muscle memory as well, depending on the pencils and stuff you decide to use. Like, let's say you actually want to sketch on the pages instead of doing this, in which I might, you know, check that out myself, because I could really, really blow minds because I'm a realism artist. It took my high school teacher to get me into coloring anything, okay? Because I have a deep, dark secret about the way paper feels. And to me, now I know that it feels, if it doesn't feel like paper, it's right, okay? And I did it right. So it doesn't feel like paper when you get done with these pages, and that's what's important. I'll be sharing definitely much, much more of them, because it's over 118 pages. I have 1,000 pages in the reservoir. And that's pretty much a Bible. But I'm not going to be releasing any of the 1,000. I actually might sell those as JPEGs. But for this, you just go and darken, and you do what you want when you want. For example, I have not even finished this. I could head on to something else. And I haven't touched anyone's tattoos on any pages except for Killustrators, which I will have to definitely go into detail and talk about her page as well, because I end up really loving it. Melody's page as well. I went on her son's shirt and I freehanded in the Rugrats, which is a big deal to me. You know, when you're born in the 90s, anything Toonami, anything cartoons, that's all right up my alley, despite, again, my wheelhouse being realism. Look at me, I'm coloring and I'm talking about cartoons and anime. That's, you know, and I could have did that with the coloring book, but I was going to make mangas. And I wanted to do that of my own artwork. I didn't even want to use them as like a parody, so to speak. I'm not trying to sound funny, but like I was about to play them and put them into cartoon characters when they made me mad. Like I was about to make caricatures, NFTs of them. That's how tight I got. I'm an artist. I create. So it's like, you know, a lot of people underestimate me, and even there at Black Ink Brooklyn, they underestimate me, even though I've tattooed right in the shop. I don't know how you can underestimate me when I've done that right in your face. But again, people don't watch. I say watch and learn. You want to learn from me? Watch. Yeah. So when you color this, just know you're on a journey. You're going to be coloring it, and you're going to be learning, and you're going to be getting muscle memory. I made my first light box when I was 12, y'all. You can do it.